Good Monday morning to ya. It's Leza live on the radio, on the news, 103.5 FM, KYCA. How's the team this morning? Everybody here and accounted for?
Present, accounted for.
Okay.
Magnificent.
Fantastic. Good to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. How did it go last week as I had to leave? I had to go to L.A. for a funeral, which was just crazy, to go over there during this awful time.
Oh.
I'll tell you all about it. But I want to know how things went here. Did Liz Rogers take over?
Liz was fine.
Yes.
Okay.
She changed the name of the show, I heard, to
Yes.
Leza Live.
Liza Live.
Or Liz.
Liz Live.
Liza Live.
Liza Live.
Yeah.
Just for the day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was that received well?
All the callers that called in loved it.
I bet. I bet they did.
And then the guy on Friday, we really could do without that guy.
Yeah.
I don't trust him.
Another Matt, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, Matt Santos.
One is too many.
Yeah.
Two, that's just, you're asking for it.
I'm sure you guys had a good time.
Well, Matt tried to do the intro like you do, singing, and he
Oh.
just can't pull that off.
No,
Yeah.
He doesn't have the personality or the enthusiasm. No, he might have talent, but he doesn't have those other two things.
Wow.
Well, he really does, actually.
Write that down. Talent.
Talent.
What is that, right?
Well, I don't know. You said Matt Santos has talent.
He
so
has talent, yes.
He could put that on his flyer.
Yeah.
Talent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you guys survived without me. Barely, right?
Just barely.
And then Barry didn't show.
Yeah.
He was a busy guy.
He is a busy guy. The more he adds to his plate, the less he adds to ours.
Never really thought of it like that, but you're correct.
I still
100%.
I still think it's just because he doesn't like Matt Santos.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You think that's why he didn't come in?
Of course.
Oh, well, we'll ask him when he comes in on Friday, because I'll be here on Friday.
Because you'll be here and he'll definitely
Yes,
be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. We look forward to talking to Barry and seeing what he has going on every Friday, right? Did you review a movie for us, Maddie?
Kind of.
Yeah, what was it?
We mostly talked about the things going on in the world.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Santos had asked us to chat about our favorite movie. Filmed in Arizona is how I interpreted it.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
he said it was movies based on Arizona, and I don't know. Maybe he needs to learn how to text. I don't know. Maybe it's an old man thing. I don't know.
So, bad communication.
We talked for about 5 minutes about Three Amigos, which is my mom's favorite movie, filmed in Arizona.
Yeah.
According to her.
Okay.
But I had a whole list and all kinds of stuff, and we didn't touch it really at all.
No.
We mostly talked about, California.
Right,
So.
right. Well, we're going to talk about California, and we're going to talk about wildfire preparedness today. Of course, we have an expert that lives in our community. It's Conrad Jackson. He's the wildfire risk manager for the Prescott Fire Department. He's going to be in a little later on to help us all. This is a great wake-up call. Not great. That's a horrible word. This is a wake-up call for all of us that live in this matchbox of our community. Every spring we worry about wildfire danger, and
It's not spring anymore. It's year-round.
It's year-round.
And
It's year-round.
That's one thing that personally, we've talked about it several times. I talked about it on Friday. That's scaring me. Every day that we go by without any form of moisture, the worse it gets, especially snow.
Right.
Especially snow.
Yeah. So Conrad will be in to give us some tips and tell us what we all need to be doing right now if we haven't done it already. And I know that Scott Dando spent a lot of time out in the yard a couple weekends ago, cutting everything up and making sure we have all that defensible space around our home. And it's something that we all have to keep up on all the time. Conrad has all the details, and he'll be up a little later on coming up this morning. I did go to the L.A. area for a funeral, and we got in Thursday morning. And good thing we went Thursday and not Wednesday when they had the huge wind storm. It looked, just despite the smoke that was everywhere all around us while we were there the whole time, just the damage from the wind, something like I've never seen before. Down trees, branches, just debris everywhere. Huge. And so you can only imagine what that did to those wildfires with spreading and growing. And I tell you what, when we flew into Burbank instead of LAX. A lot of flights were canceled through LAX, and what you could see through the window, just smoke everywhere.
Gotta be scary.
Looked like an atom bomb had gone off. Yeah, super scary. Once we landed in Burbank, there was a lot of smoke. It was early in the morning, so that cool air kind of suppressed it down. So I was really concerned that was what we were going to have to deal with the whole time we were there. But surprisingly, we stayed in the Woodland Hills area. It wasn't too smoky there, and Simi Valley wasn't smoky, and that's where we went to the funeral. But you could see it everywhere, and just the news 24/7. No commercials. I mean, serious stuff. Talking about, the fire danger, the evacuations, where people can get help, how to get their animals out. I mean, just constant news, which you can't get away from. Even though you don't live there, of course you're concerned for the people that live there, and the devastation was just unparalleled. Of course, we didn't go into any of the neighborhoods, but you could see it all on the news, and to hear the stories of displaced people coming home and we know we have been evacuated. We deal with wildfires here in our area, and so we know what that's like. It was a little bit of PTSD being over there because the Indian Fire we were evacuated from, and the sky looked exactly the same. The red black smoke in the air, just really terrifying.
Yeah, we've been lucky the past couple of years. We really haven't had anything super major locally.
Well, yeah.
So we've been lucky, knock on wood. But
knock on wood.
It just keeps getting, I don't know. I think especially when we have things do happen, they tend to be a little bit better just because of our fire management that we have here.
Right.
I mean, the city of Prescott and the National Forest works really, really, really hard on that.
Yes, all year round, like you said.
Really appreciate that.
Yes, we are a fire-adapted community. We, we know if it's going to happen, we want to be able to stop it before it gets too bad, and it's something on the tip of our tongue and the forefront of our minds at all times. And so, yeah, Conrad's going to be in just a little bit to talk about what we here can do while that's happening over there, just in case. Being prepared is the number one key.
Well, the good news is that our management up here is, I think, much more on top of it than out to the west.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the prescribed burns going on. You see people's house, fire-wise, dispensable space, like you said. Mm-hmm. And that's not over there. That's
right.
Not in Southern California. They're not doing that because you're not allowed to cut the trees. You're not allowed to do so many things. And they just had a lot of fuel. And it's not like these winds the Santa Anas don't come up every year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something you can set your watch to.
Right.
So, they knew it was coming up, and then some of the decisions they made prior to that was just really not good for the people. But,
it's very, very sad.
Our prayers, our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to them, because I'll tell you what, it's not good. I don't know if I didn't mention to you, but my buddy's house was spared.
Oh. And
he was so lucky, except when he came back, the house was completely ransacked. They broke in, stole and they caught the guys, and they were dressed up as firefighters.
Oh, how awful.
So that's what they're dealing with. So now,
just awful.
I mean, it's just, that was really sad for me to hear.
Sure.
That people are being like that. I mean, they're rummaging through people's lives.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Yeah. Horrible.
It is. At least 24 people have died from it.
Yeah.
Dozens are missing as firefighters continue to battle the deadly LA wildfires. It's been less than a week since the year's first wildfire. Embers raced through the air over LA, carried by hurricane-level Santa Ana winds to spark some of the deadliest wildfires California's ever seen. They say the Palisades fire started on Tuesday, and by the end of Wednesday, it had burned more than 17,000 acres. You can just imagine. We've been here when we've had wind like that, and we hold our breath. We definitely hold our breath. Now the Palisades blaze and the nearby Eaton fire still mostly uncontained. Renewed Santa Ana winds threaten to enlarge those blazes or even start new ones. They're looking at possibly gust winds of 45 to 50 miles per hour the next couple of days. So
that's a lot better than 100.
Well, yeah, but with the fires already burning, I'm sure that's not
they're
gonna
only
help.
12% contained right now.
Yeah,
So that's not a whole lot, and you got wind coming, so
right.
that number's probably going to decrease.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on a lighter note, before we get to Conrad, lots of football this weekend.
Yeah.
Lots of football, some takeaways. The Houston Texans, Baltimore Ravens, and Buffalo Bills all advanced, as did the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Tonight, it's the NFC wildcard game between Minnesota Vikings and the LA Rams. Of course, they're going to be playing that game here at State Farm Stadium in Glendale tonight because of the California wildfires. And, of course, you can catch that game on our sister station, The Team, 1450. And so that's happening. Also happening today, the debut of the All Request Lunch Hour with Leza on our sister station, Magic 99.1. What's that? Your reminder?
Oh, finally.
Your mic's not on.
It's a reminder, but it's the song
You're going to request.
It's my request that I put so I wouldn't forget to give it to you.
Oh, you're so good. What is your request, Drew? What's the first song going to be?
Oh no! I thought I
Well, you already requested Metallica, which
Yeah.
I don't know if I have it, but
Okay, fine. I'll Metallica for whom the bell tolls.
Any Metallica.
Fine. But for whom the bell tolls is,
Okay, for whom the bell tolls. We're going to do this every morning.
Okay.
Okay, all right. And what's yours going to be, Drew?
Hanging Around by the Counting Crows.
Oh, I'll definitely have that one.
I love the beginning of it with the drum that kind of sets everything off.
Yeah.
It's upbeat.
Okay, very good.
So do I have to do
it.
this every day for you now?
Well, I mean, it would
Or
be
the first 5 days?
It would be nice. I'd like the hour to be all requests. Wouldn't that be fun? The phone
Easily
number.
done.
The phone number over there is 928-445-9910. Super easy. So everybody listening this morning, it would just thrill me to death if you'd call in and request a song today between noon and 1 on our sister station. It's going to be a ton of fun. I mean, music and people, and it's just going to be a lighter hour.
and don't forget to harass Leza for having to work a second hour in the day.
True. I mean, I really am putting it out there for you all.
She's
yes.
sacrificing for you.
So what is that percentage now?
What, of my day?
Yeah, it's 2 out of 24.
Exactly.
That's reasonable.
It is reasonable, and that's why I'm doing it.
But see, most people don't understand what it takes to get an hour on the radio.
Thank you, Drew. All this show prep doesn't happen on its own.
Right.
You got to take 30 seconds to print it out.
Very busy. I'm very, very busy.
Are you going to hit him?
If I could, I would.
She could reach me.
If I could reach him, I would.
All right.
He likes to tease, but I know he's just jealous.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So jealous. I'm telling you, Metallica Mondays. I'll just run on Mondays and run nothing but Metallica.
Yeah? Okay, we'll see what we can do
I don't think
for
they
you.
would allow that, though.
We'll see what we can do for you.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Metallica
Well,
Mondays on
So-
Magic. Look at that.
So what is the first song you're going to request?
I
You
think-
got to do one yourself.
I-
The first one should be yours.
Okay.
Okay, Matt can go second. I'll go third. It's okay.
All right, let me ask you guys your thoughts on my
Madonna.
song. Madonna. Which Madonna song? Do you think I would play? Vogue?
Sure.
No.
I was thinking something else, but
I was thinking something a little more retro. How about the theme to Welcome Back, Kotter?
that works. Or I
Drew
mean,
is shaking his head.
Or I'm not sure. He might have a phone call, or maybe something with Taylor Swift. I know she's your girl.
Well, I love Tay Tay. Yeah. You don't like Welcome Back? Welcome Back.
It just doesn't have enough punch for you.
No, it really doesn't, but I couldn't think of any other Welcome Back songs. Can you think of any? Google it.
Welcome to the Thunderdome. No.
Oh, Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you
that
go.
works. A little GNR.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Guns N' Roses.
Welcome to the Jungle. Okay,
Yeah.
you like that better, huh?
My Sweet Child. Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah, but that's not like a welcome back
No,
song.
All right.
what's another
Well-
welcome song? Mr. Roger, welcome to the neighborhood.
Frankie Goes to
Won't you-
Hollywood.
Frankie,
Welcome.
Well, look at you.
Droogle on it today.
Okay.
Hey, it's in the 80s. I'm there, buddy.
Right? Okay, Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that relax, don't do it when
You
you
could-
wanted
yeah.
to do it?
Yeah.
But he does say
Relax.
welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The
we've got
world is my oyster.
we have a set list,
I don't
people.
know.
We have a set list. This is good. This will get us through the first 10 minutes of the show.
I'm thinking Welcome to the Jungle is great.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good one.
We'll start it with that one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
All right. Right. Thank goodness I thought of it. Since you guys thought of your own.
I'm barely awake, so don't blame me.
We know, Matt. It's just like any other day. Today is actually a really great day to start my my new show. It's Public Radio Broadcasting Day. Today, we honor the very thing that you're listening to right now. Radio airways are considered public property, which is why we need a license to broadcast. America's first commercial radio station, KDKA, went on the air 105 years ago in Pittsburgh and is still broadcasting today. Don't ask me what they're broadcasting. It just says they're still broadcasting.
I'm going with metal.
Yeah, of course. Yes,
That was Brandon Montoya,
yes.
and he wants some Paul Simon.
Paul Simon.
Since
Okay.
isn't it Montoya Monday?
Yeah,
is.
it can be.
It can't. So now
Absolutely.
we have Montoya request
Okay.
Monday.
I'll put him down, but you know what would be great is
Yeah.
if he'd actually call the new show and
Well,
say hi and
If,
request it.
if not, go with Kodachrome.
Okay, Kodachrome. All right. Or Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. That's a good one too. All right. Okay, I got notes. This is great.
Call me Al.
Yeah, exactly.
Call
Exactly.
me Al. Okay, sorry.
Okay. In college, one of my friends used to call me a roly-poly little bat-faced girl, and that's from that song. Roly-poly little bat-faced girl. That's what he said.
Wow.
Don't ever repeat that.
I'm going
Did
to
you have
repeat it
Scott beat him up?
constantly.
I should have.
You should
I
have.
should have, yeah. All right. Okay, we should move on. We've got so many things to talk about. Like I said, wildfire risk manager from the Prescott Fire Department, Conrad Jackson, will be in with us throughout the rest of the hour, giving us tips and telling us what we need to be doing to be prepared just in case.
Although we need a song from him first before we get
Okay.
serious.
Okay,
So
don't
Conrad
forget.
will have to give us a song.
All right, let's not forget, okay? And right now, you know, emergencies aren't always medical. When your heating or air condition fails, it is a real emergency, and AC Medic Heating and Air is ready to respond from repairs to replacements and routine maintenance. Their expert team acts fast to restore comfort to your home. Don't sweat the summer or shiver through winter. AC Medic is here to save the day. Call 928-848-6224 for service you can count on. AC Medic Heating and Air, your first responder for comfort no matter the season. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. It's Leza Live on the news, 103.5 FM, KYCA on a Monday. We have wildfire risk manager with the Prescott Fire Department, Conrad Jackson, in with us. Welcome back, Conrad.
Good morning. Good to be back.
I'm sure the news is just really, really hard for you to watch. I mean, we are all having a tough time taking in all this information and seeing the devastation over there in California. But I bet you have a different perspective on it all.
It's difficult because I'm not a frontline operator anymore. I'm not on an engine anymore. I'm more administrative.
Right.
And so it's funny that those of us that are kind of in that position, your leg starts twitching. You start getting the anxious. I want to go do something.
Right.
You're just wired that way.
Yeah.
And so it is. It's difficult to watch. And you're using all of your avenues of information to try to get in there and see what kind of information. Like even I have friends that live over by Dodger Stadium, so they're in line of sight of Hollywood Hills.
Yes.
And so I was using my Genesis Protect program that I have that our county and our city uses for evacuation.
Right.
Well, you can look at the entire nation with that program.
Oh, wow.
So I actually was able to open it up and look at his neighborhood and see, okay, well, how many zones away are they from being evacuated? He's a good distance away, but he gave me some peace of mind. But I thought about that, like how many people here in the Prescott area have family that is over there? Do they know that they could use Genesis Protect to look and see? You can actually set the Genesis Protect program to monitor a zone. Like if you know where your in-laws live or something like that, you can put that into the app and say, always tell me information about that zone. So in addition to, knowing about your own zone that you're in right now, you can know about their zone as well.
Right. If people don't know what we're talking about, go ahead and tell them. We'll just get right to that because that is something everybody should have on their phone. It's an app. Yep. And it'll help you.
Yeah, so
in these situations.
When I'm having conversations with folks, I tell them there's 3 programs that I really encourage folks to put on their phones, and one is the Genesis Protect app, and it's Genesis is in GENASYS Protect, and that's what like I said, the county and the city are using that for our evacuation notifications, and so we've broken down the entire county and the cities into zones, and so it is a very expeditious way for agencies to, if we get a fire start and we recognize fires getting ready to go into these particular neighborhoods, we can very, very quickly toggle from our side, from the manager's side, the different zones and say, we need these folks to be on set notification or we need these folks to be on go notification. And it immediately pushes out. And what's cool about that app is you can set it up so it always monitors where you're at if you choose to do so, or you can use it passively and just go look at the app and look at the program and see, they're evacuating this area. They've got this area on set. Right. So Genesis Protect's a great program to have.
And I have to tell you before you move on to the next one, I got a notification one day from Genesis on my phone, and it was about the traffic change, and I was like, that's good to
welcome.
know. Yeah, I mean, I was like, it's working. It was my point. It's like it's working. It's keeping me safe. It's keeping me informed.
Right. And so what's that particular scenario you're talking about, we don't have a whole lot of emergencies where we are going to need to, evacuate everybody. So, but we want managers like myself to be able to practice with it.
Right.
And so we've kind of morphed a little bit and utilized that Genesis program for doing road notifications and things like that. So we're in there, we're touching it, we're staying familiar with it, so it can be as expeditious and smooth as it needs to be when it happens. So that's a great practice for us to utilize. Right. Genesis Protect, definitely one. Alert Yavapai. You go to the Alert Yavapai site for the county, and that's the Yavapai County Sheriff's Department. It sets you up for notifications for all sorts of emergencies.
Okay.
So not just an evacuation notification, but all their all their emergency notifications.
Is that an app or a website?
That is a website that you'll go to and that you'll register for.
Okay.
And then you will be on their list. And what's nice about that is also, say you're somebody who has limited mobility or something like that, you can actually document that privately with the county, and that way if they have to evacuate an area, that your address will be flagged, like we have a person with limited mobility here, we need to get in and assist them for evacuation.
That's good.
So it's an added benefit. And then since the focus right now is wildfire, the third app that I encourage folks to utilize is the Watch Duty app.
Okay.
And the Watch Duty app basically tracks all the wildland fires in the nation. And so you can see what fires are going on here, there, and everywhere, but especially local. Obviously, we have a interest in that. So watch duty is a great one just for people who want to know what the wildfire activity is like. It's funny. I
Yes.
get phone calls all the time. Hey, Conrad, is there any fires going on? I'm like, well, why don't you get the watch duty
Right.
app?
And there's always wildfires
Yes,
going
there's
on,
always-
right?
And more so now, year round, right?
Yeah.
There is, looking at the social media stuff, there's this crazy misconception I think folks have. I had somebody make a statement over the weekend and said, well, I live in Prescott Valley. I'm in the grassland area. I don't need to worry about wildland fire.
Right.
And my eyes are just like, oh, because the worst wildland fire in Colorado history was the Marshall Fire in Boulder, which happens to be from where our chief's from. You're talking about a fire that destroyed 1,084 buildings, killed 2 people, and occurred in a grassland area on December 30th, dead of winter.
Yeah.
No, we just don't process like dead of winter. I need to be worried about wildland fire. And that thing it leveled strip malls.
Sounds similar to what we're seeing over in Southern California right now.
Yes.
I mean, these neighborhoods are totally leveled, and there's not wildland around them. They're in a neighborhood.
No, and at that point, we get into what's called the urban conflagration. And so we have many, many areas that have homes that are in very close proximity to each
Yes.
other. So the science tells us that really to forestall that building-to-building transmission, homes should be 70 feet apart. We have lots and lots of neighborhoods where that is not the case.
Right.
I mean, there's 7-foot property lines on either side, so the houses are 15 foot apart. So once one of those goes up, I mean, the firefighters, if they're dealing with a single structure on fire, if it's still small, you go interior, you try to put it out. When the whole building gets involved, and it's a loss. So what you're trying to do is keep it at that house and not let it get to the houses next door.
Sure.
Well, when the houses are 15 foot apart, that becomes a genuine challenge, as we saw in LA, where there's not enough engines. The engines aren't designed to be fighting 15, 16, 20, 100 houses all at the same time.
Right.
There's not enough engines. There's not enough personnel. There's not enough water supply in the hydrant system to keep up with that kind of water flow.
Right.
And so it gets to be its own fuel type at that point. It's literally like we talk about grass fires and brush fires and timber fires. Well,
Right.
there's urban conflagrations, and they literally just rip house to house to house.
Ugh.
And
Devastating.
once it gets established, it's really, really hard to stop.
Okay. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about preparedness. I mean, you talk about it wherever you go, all year round. It is something that we all living here in this area need to be top of mind
Indeed.
about. So we'll talk about wildfire preparedness coming up next with Conrad Jackson here on Leza Live. Right now, I want to let you know that the next Jewelry Spa Day at the Artful Eye Jewelers is coming up on this Friday. Bring in all of your jewelry and have Master Jewelers Dave and Kevin clean and inspect it for free. Artful Eye purchased jewelry gets free polish and rhodium. They're going to have snacks and special discounts. It's a ton of fun you get to have while your jewelry is getting cleaned for you while you wait. Also, on this coming Artful Eye Spa Day, they're going to have some gold, silver, diamonds, and gemstone jewelry that is 60% off. I'm talking diamond engagement rings, diamond fashion jewelry, tanzanite and sapphire jewelry, sterling silver, and colorful gemstones, all up to 60% off at the Artful Eye Jewelers, smack dab in the middle of Whiskey Row, downtown Prescott. Welcome back. It's Leza Live on the News 103.5 FM KYCA on a Monday, talking with Wildfire Risk Manager Conrad Jackson with the Prescott Fire Department this morning. And we're just going to jump right into wildfire preparedness.
Wildfire
What do we need to do?
Well, there's a bunch of different levels, and
Right.
I think because we have an old community, so some of our homes are a lot older than other homes.
Yes.
And so that becomes problematic because around 2008, we adopted a wildland-urban interface building code.
Okay.
So everything built after '08 or so has at least some level of construction resistance. We call it home hardening. So cement fiber board, Class A roofing, different components, our doors. So stuff that's going to help fight wildland fire running into your neighborhood.
Okay.
But older homes like mine, my house is built in the 80s. I've got wood siding, old because it's been there for a while.
Right.
Vegetation is very mature.
Right.
So we have a full spectrum of things we need to be concerned about, and we kind of work it from the inside out.
Okay.
So the home hardening aspect, like I said, new construction is largely in Prescott is going to be built to a standard that is going to make insurance companies happy because it's, like I said, cement fiber boards and resistant, and It's really, really important to have that. But then once you get past that, it's the first 5 feet. The science shows us that if you have no vegetation and no combustible materials in that first 5 feet, and you have a home that's generally hardened, it has a really, really good chance of withstanding your normal ember fallout, which is what destroys most of the homes in a wildland fire.
Mm-hmm.
The LA is an entirely different beast unto itself,
Right.
but your average Joe run-of-the-mill wildland fire is going to send embers miles. I mean, we saw that with the Legato fire, right? Easter embers were going 2 miles down the way, and fortunately, it was really moist that night, so Prescott Valley didn't have other issues that came along with it. All those embers died out in flight. But those embers are the big problem. So if you can have a hardened home and then no vegetation and no combustible materials in that first 5 feet, your house has a really, really good chance. Now the catch is, though, most of us, like my house, I have lilacs, that are definitely within 5 feet of my house, and we run into that. What do I keep? What do I take? And I tell people all the time, like, well, if you're going to make a bad decision, like having plants in your first 5 feet, at least make a good bad decision, and trim it up so you can clean out the leaf litter underneath it. Keep it short.
Okay.
So if you let your brush that's next to your house and the shrubberies and stuff get tall, the flame lengths off your Joe average shrub are going to be 1.5 times the height of the plant.
Okay.
So if you've got a 4-foot high shrub,
Right.
then you're looking at 6 foot of flame length, and that's at 10 feet. Now you're hitting the eaves of your house.
Yes.
So if you're going to make that bad decision, trim your shrubberies down, trim them up at the bottom, and for heaven's sakes, put them on irrigation.
Yes.
So they can be as moist as they possibly can be.
What about a cedar or a wood sided home? I mean, even if you don't have the shrubs, you've still got that wood on the outside of your home.
Yeah, terrible construction style.
Yeah. I have one.
Really,
I have a cedar.
It is. So you keep it sealed as best you can. Don't let cracks develop, like in the surface areas, where if you can put sealants in there and seal it up so it doesn't have little nooks and crannies for all those embers to land. Like I said, 80% of the homes that go up in a wildland fire are from the embers.
The Indian fire, we were about a quarter mile from it. We were evacuated. And when we got home, there were burns on the deck, the wood deck.
Yes.
From the embers.
Absolutely.
I mean, the fact that it didn't light up was a miracle.
Well, with the Indian fire, it started late enough in the day. And we had, Jason and I were just talking about it before I came in here. We had 2 things going for us. It started a little bit later in the day, so it was after the main burn period of the day. And then we had air tankers,
right there
at the base that were not assigned to another fire. So they were able to immediately assign them.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, some 33, 43, something like that, drops they made that afternoon in just that little window between the fire starting and sundown. And having worked at the tanker base as the guy who parks the plane and Phil, I did that for 3 years.
Yeah.
I know how holy moly fast that has to be in order for those tankers to make that fast a
Right.
turnaround. That's impressive stuff.
Very, very
So
impressive.
yeah, we got very, very lucky. But yeah, but you bring up an interesting point is, talking about the home hardening aspect, is a lot of our decks out there are wood, and wood is not a particularly good component, and it's attached to your house. So any wood that you have, that like a deck or a fence or a wooden gate, all those things just act like a big fuse, and they just burn. There's case after case of like the house was okay, but
Right.
the fence caught on fire and it acted like a fuse, burned up to the house, and boom.
Yeah.
So that's why we see a lot more like Trex or similar products being used,
Yeah.
because they're a little more resistant. They can
They
still
are.
catch on fire if they, you start dropping 10,000 embers on a deck.
Right.
Bad things can happen, but it helps.
Yeah.
So and I tell people that when I'm doing inspections of their house, if you've got a wooden fence, how about we think about at least changing the gate out to a metal gate so it creates a break.
Okay.
That's a little more or a little less cost prohibitive.
Right.
Replacing a gate as opposed to replacing the whole thing. So it's a
Right.
step in the right direction.
Okay, so there are things you can do.
There are things you can do, and then past that 5 foot, you really just need to limit the vegetation that you have present. And when I say limited, I really mean limited. Like you should have gaps of like 15 foot between canopies,
Okay.
and then everything that's in there. We've all driven around the neighborhoods, and you can tell the fire-wised houses, right? They 6 feet up for
Yep.
the mature trees, they're trimmed up, and that's just to keep your Joe average grass fire from being able to migrate up into the canopy. Because once it starts getting into the canopy, and especially if it's got a good wind behind it, you got bigger problems. And
it
you're
jumps,
talking,
right?
Right. A little grass fire is fairly low intensity. It's just super fast moving, and it's pitching embers down the line. But when you start jumping into the brush and into the canopy, we've got ladder fuels where it moves from the ground fire up into the brush and then up into like even to the timber, because we have plenty of areas that are ponderosa here. It's just expedited, so much worse at that point. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to limit the fuels that are available to burn as you get closer and closer to your house. So we go 5 foot out, we go 30 foot out, and then for the remaining 100 feet away from your home, we follow the same principles: brushing stuff up, limbing stuff up 6 foot high, and trimming stuff back. But now you can. When we were closer, we looked at like 15 foot apart for canopies.
Okay.
I tell people arms wingspan 6 feet
Okay.
for the breaking up the canopy, just to help reduce the proximity. And so we have so many, especially in the older neighborhoods, where people have allowed their vegetative fence. I don't want to see my neighbor. Well, and as a result, they leave this very, very continuous fuel adjacent to their home, and it too is a vegetative fuse. And so if any piece of it catches on fire, it'll take it all the way. It's just going to eat through all of that material.
Right.
So if you've got the continuous vegetation across your property, it's going to burn continuously all the way to your home.
Right.
And if you have an older home like mine, that home is not very home hardened, as it were, because it's got wood siding, it's got open eaves. There's all these building construction components that my home's, a high danger area.
Right. Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, and you brought up a good point earlier when you were talking about grasslands, and people think they don't need to be fire wise because they aren't in the forest. I mean, these are things everybody should be doing just in case, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you live in a grassland area? Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, everything in Prescott burns.
Right.
If we have a rainy year, we get lots of grass, it dries out, it burns.
Right.
If we get a really dry year like we've got currently, all the timber and the brush gets really dry, and we have that component that burns.
Yeah.
And then there's always the leftover grasses from the previous year. So there's always stuff
Always
here to
fuel.
Always stuff here to burn.
Okay, let's take another break. More with Conrad Jackson coming up here on Leza Live. Stay with us. So, you ready to love your smile? Pro Solutions Dental Group offers a variety of cosmetic treatments to help you shine, from stunning veneers to professional whitening and more. Their personalized approach ensures your smile makeover is tailored to your unique goals, giving you a confident, radiant smile you'll be proud to share. Whether it's a subtle enhancement or a dramatic transformation, Pro Solutions has you covered. Explore your options for a custom smile makeover today at PrescottDentist.com or give them a call, 928-776-1208 to schedule a consultation. Welcome back to Leza Live on the news 103.5 FM KYCA. We appreciate you hanging out with us this morning, talking with the Prescott Fire Department's wildfire risk manager, Conrad Jackson, this morning. Tell me, what is the city doing to help get us prepared just in case of wildland fire?
So fortunately for many years now, we've been moving that direction. We've been trying to move the needle. And while the department has historically, that kind of goes back to talking about the defensible space stuff that we were just talking about. A lot of people, if they're new to the area, they're from a region that they didn't have to deal with this. The Prescott Fire Department offers free evaluations. Me or one of my compatriots will actually come to your home and say, hey, this is what you're doing right. This is where you could improve things. You got to think about doing this, that, or the other thing. And we'll actually, the city was so proactive in it that the council approved purchasing a digital platform to do that on. So now I can come and do an inspection on somebody's home, take a ton of pictures of it, and then it goes into a report that you can utilize and reference back to. Rather than when I first got into this position, people would follow me around with a little notepad, and they were constantly writing down stuff. I'm like, you don't have to write anything down anymore. We're going to have pictures of everything. I literally scribble on the pictures, remove these branches, cut this back here, add irrigation, whatever it is. It's called the Fire Aside program.
Okay.
And so we have that digital platform available. Once I get done with taking all my pictures and writing my report, it then becomes, it lives in the cloud, as it were, and you can refer back to it. You can even put updated photos saying, hey, Conrad, you told me to switch out this wooden gate with a metal one. Check this out. Click. You take a picture of it, and you have all these resolved items. And we'll come back around to this particular issue, but the nice thing about that is then you have a document that if you receive some kind of a letter from your insurance company that says, hey, we're doing a non-renewal on you, you would have a report you could hand over to them that says, hey, actually, we're in really good shape here. Look at all these pictures. See it for yourself.
That is great.
So, yeah, that's and we just recently got that. We've only had the digital platform for about 3 months now.
So how does somebody sign up for that kind of
the easiest
assessment?
The easiest way to do it is to go to PrescottFire.org.
Okay.
If you go to PrescottFire.org, that's our fire department website, and you can go to the wildfire risk management silo of it, and you'll see right there, how do I get a home assessment? And there's an email. You just click on it right there, and you sign up for it.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and why wouldn't you? And while you're there, you should probably take advantage of some of the other offerings that the city does. A lot of people, listeners that we've got going right now are going to, it's very much on their radar, so they're probably spending their weekends trimming branches off their trees. If they're following my recommendation, they're limbing stuff up 5 minutes or 6 feet up, and they're moving stuff back 5 foot from the house. They got all these trimmings. Maybe you can fit those trimmings into a trash can. Maybe you can't. If you can't, the city offers free chipping service on Fridays. So if you go to PrescottFire.org, you'll see the little thing there. It says chipping request. And you sign up for our forestry crew that works for the Parks and Rec. They will come on a Friday and chip whatever you have trimmed off. And that's a great service. And that's intended for around a home. They use it for defensible space. But it's free to the citizens.
I can't believe that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't aware of that. And we have other offerings as well. The city typically in the month of April, every Saturday will have free brush drop-off. So you just take it over to the transfer station and drop it off for free. And then in August, which is a little bit after the wildland season, but that's what it is when it is.
Right.
Have bulk drop off, so you can just bundle stuff up and put it out on the curb, and the city will come along, and that's usually in August through the first week or two of September when that's available. So the city's doing a couple different things. Or if you have a neighborhood, this is one of my favorite, and it's very, very underutilized. If you have a whole neighborhood, like everybody on your street, it's like, let's do this together. Let's make it a team.
Which makes
community.
sense.
We're a community. Let's treat it like a community. We're going to have a community project. Let's all do this. And if you all do that, I will bring in a 40-yard dumpster and bring it in for a day, and you guys can throw everything into that dumpster, all the vegetation, and we will haul it off for you.
No
we will
charge
do that.
again.
No charge again. We
That's
will
amazing.
do that. This is important to the community, and it's
Very.
important to the safety of the community. And mitigations like this is one of the cool things, like preparing for a natural disaster, that you can do that doesn't just improve your home, but improves your entire community's safety.
What's the website again?
PrescottFire.org.
PrescottFire.org. More with Conrad Jackson coming up. Right now, this new year, let Prescott Women's Clinic help you make your health a priority. From routine wellness exams to specialized care, their compassionate team is here to guide you through every stage of your life. Start 2025 feeling empowered and supported with expert care you can trust, because when you take care of yourself, you're ready to take on anything the new year brings. Schedule your appointment today by calling 928-778-4300 or visit them online at PrescottWomen'sClinic.com. Welcome back. We're talking about wildland fire preparedness with Conrad Jackson this morning, and we've got to touch on insurance before we go. We just have a couple minutes left, but a lot of people, more and more these days, are getting their homeowners insurance canceled because of where we live.
Where we live,
yes.
Sure. The insurance companies look at it from the 30,000-foot view. The general algorithms paint our area in red.
Right.
The AZ WRAP website will show you, like, Prescott is red. 86301, 303, 305. We're all red.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of non-renewals. And it's because we're risky. We're risky, and we've become more expensive. Our homes are more expensive in the area. It costs more to rebuild them, and we're talking about for-profit companies, right?
Sure.
So they're mitigating their risk by eliminating policies.
Yes.
What I tell people when I get that phone call, because I get that phone call every week now,
Sure.
and I probably suspect in the weeks to come we'll probably see even more. If you do get a non-renewal notification, obviously reach out. If you have a broker, reach out to your broker and see what they're experiencing and who they can get for you. An option B for folks is the state Arizona Department of Insurance and Financial Institutions, DIFI. So
Okay.
it's difi.az.gov.
Okay.
They maintain a list of insurance companies that tell them, yes, we are willing to insure in the WUI, in the Wildland Urban Interface.
Okay.
Now, it's been my experience, and this experience of several brokers, that list is maybe a little outdated, and not
Okay.
everybody that's on the list still does that.
All right.
But at least it's a starting point for when you get that. When you get that letter in the mail, it says we're not going to be. I got that. You got that.
got it.
You and I both received non-renewal notifications.
This year for the first time.
Yeah. So, and I think we'll see more of that. It's definitely in the year that I've been in the seat increased. So
Yeah.
I highly encourage people to go to the Arizona's DiFi website to look at their list of forested area providers, I think is how that's listed.
Okay, that's good to know. All right. So much information. Thank you so much for coming in, and thank you so much for what you do for our community, because it's so important, as we see. Just turn on the news.
Yes.
And you'll be, it'll remind you to get out there and get it cleaned up.
Yes, please do.
Absolutely. What's your song request?
Something by Oingo Boingo.
Boingo
please.
Boingo it is. We'll see you all on Magic 99.1 at noon and back here tomorrow.